In today's video, we're going to be creating the final page for our desktop layout for our restaurant website design. So this is the contact us page, and I'm just going to scroll down so we can see the entire page. It's a very short one, and I'm also going to show you what the layout looks like, and this is it. So let's get started. Let's start working on our final web page for the desktop layout. So I'm going to start with going over to the event. You can select from any one of those pages. I'm just going to select from that one, and I'm going to select this part and delete everything there. Select the frame and then paste. I'm going to change the text here. Let me just copy it from my notes and I'm going to paste. I'm just going to change, I'm going to bring it back to the center. Select this text and go over to typography. We're going to change it to restaurant desktop body. Let me move this button out of the way. You know what, in fact I need more space, so I'm just going to zoom out and then select all of this and bring it down. We're going to need a button. Well, sort of. I'm just going to check that we have our text aligned to the middle 8 columns, and I can grab my text. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste here. Now select this top section, Ctrl I to italize the text. Now I'm just going to bring this button here and copy this, and I'm going to paste and replace. You know what, as I just zoomed out, that's when I saw this image and I was like, what's it doing here? And I realized I haven't changed this. Let's finish up with this part, then I can go back and do that. So I'm going to create 2 more copies. As I've been saying throughout this project, if you have a button in your assets library, you can go ahead and use that. Let me copy this text and paste. I'm going to copy, paste, final one. I'm going to copy and then paste. I'm going to select all 3 buttons, make it an auto layout, and then go to gap, make the gap 20. And I'm just going to bring this to the center, select this 2, make it an auto layout. Now we're going to come over here and change the gap to 20. I want at least the text to be responsive, and it is, so in the resizing the text is set to fill container. Now I'm just going to zoom out. I'm going to need this heading text, and subheading text and body text. I don't think I'll need this button, so I'm just going to delete it. Let me start with this one. I'm going to change typography to restaurant desktop, subheading, resizing should be auto width, and alignment of text should be center. I'm going to grab the subheading for this section and I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to align this text to the center of the frame. Select this body text and I'm going to go over to typography and change the typography to body text. Now I can just copy the text and paste. So the width of the text box really doesn't matter, but I'm just going to leave it to be aligned to the middle 8 columns, and I'm just going to select both of these, make it an auto layout, and the gap should be 25. Now I'm just going to zoom out. There's no need for this, so we can just duplicate this, and I'm going to just bring this down. Let's go to our notes. I'm going to grab this subheading text, come into our frame, and I'm going to paste that here. I'm also going to grab this text and paste, and then finally I'm going to select this text here, Alt Shift, and I'm going to create another copy. We're going to use this to just use it as a we're going to place a button there. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm just going to select this, Control Shift and R to replace, and add the button there. If you have a button in your assets library, once again you can use that. I'm going to copy the text so we can change the text for this button, and I'm going to paste, and that's it for this section. Now I'm going to, guess what, I forgot this image again. It's not that I zoomed out again, I saw the image. Let's do the image. I want you to go in and grab our lines, but let's just bring in the image. If you've already done that, that's not an issue. So I'm going to rotate this image using shifts like this, and the height, not the width, will be 1440 because I just rotated. That's why it's the height, not the width. I'm going to double click, and I'm going to reduce the width to 350. Let me zoom in a bit, and I'm going to scroll up till we have, let's see this, and I'm going to cut and then replace. Now I'm going to come over to the reservations page, copy this line, and I'm going to come over to this layout, and I'm going to paste. I want to make sure, okay, I want you to make sure it's actually in the frame, and I'm going to have this here, and I'm going to create another copy of this line, and I'm going to bring it here. Finally, we're going to need a footer section, so I'm just going to copy from this one and then paste and replace. Now I'm going to scroll back to the top so we can space out the elements within our page. So I'm going to, I was trying to figure out which one I do first. I think I check the colors first and then space things out. Let me just change the color. So let's go to fill, and I'm going to open our style library, and I'm going to change this to background. And if you're not confident in changing everything at once, you can just do it one by one, but I'm going to change anything black to text color, or whatever color you use while creating a wireframe for your text. You can just go ahead and change it to the text color. Now let's do the spacing. Select the image and this item, make the spacing 60, and I'm going to zoom out, select this including the line with the exception of the footer, make the spacing 85. Now select this last section and the footer section, make the spacing 200, and I could just reduce the height of our frame so that it fits under the footer section. And that is it for the last page, which is the contact us page, and we can just take a moment to look at it in the prototype view. And yeah, so with that, we are done with all desktop web pages. The next step of our tutorial is now creating the tablets and mobile web pages. Since we've already done the groundwork of creating every single element, the next part, and that's also why I also used the landscape version, is the next two parts is actually going to be straightforward. It's just about resizing and changing some settings. Now we're going to be doing this one by one. If you're using the premium version of Figma, there are ways that you can just drag and drop elements and it will just change its dimensions to match the layout. Whenever you move one element to the next, it's going to change its dimensions to match the new layout. However, I want everybody to be able to follow along, so we're going to do it one by one. So I'm just going to, I want to check all of them to make sure I haven't missed anything. You can check one by one, but I'm not going to do that. So I've selected all my web pages, and as you can see, all my colors are correct. So yeah, that's it for the web pages. We're going to work on the next layout, which is the desktop, the tablet layout.